We're at the very beginning of a new age of civilization, human communication, and human understanding. I'm 72 years old, and I have seen a lot in my 72 years. I saw the creation of the computer, the advances in software, the internet, everything that we have today in terms of making life easier, our smartphones, laptops, pads. And with everything comes a black and a white, an up and a down, a positive and a negative. And we are entering a new phase of technology that is like nothing that I've experienced in my years. Nothing. What did the internet do? It created an entire industry separate from the brick and mortar industries. So that changed. This, the blockchain, the advances in cryptocurrencies, will make the internet look like a sleeping dog in comparison. Because what will the blockchain do? It's not going to just change an industry from a brick and mortar to an electronic. It will take society as a whole and turn it upside down. Those who understand both the technology and the impact on our culture, our society, our financial systems, and more importantly, our system of government. Now, when is this going to happen? It's happening now. And every government on the earth is looking at ways to shut us down. Why is that? It's because we represent the greatest threat to every world government that has ever emerged. And that threat is governments run on money. Where do they get the money? From you and I, the people. And how do they do that? Through a thing called taxation. It is human nature. If we know we cannot be punished by not reporting our full income, or even any income, we will cheat. So governments know that cryptocurrencies, if they succeed and have widespread or universal acceptance, their funding is gone. Do you think world governments are just going to sit idly by and go, well, let's just see what happens? You know, we have this great meeting, hey, it's going to end us all. Well, don't worry about it. We'll see what happens. No! They have a war room now planning on what do we do to shut it down. But they can't. Technologically, it is impossible. Exchanges are coming out now using a thing called atomic swap that require no central server. And they work. So that if you have a wallet with an atomic swap capability, you are the exchange. Or you are, if there are 1 million wallets, you are 1/1,000,000th of that exchange. And the combination of all of the wallets make the full exchange. And you're in every country in the world, and nobody knows who has the wallets. How do you shut that down? We are facing a real war. And you're facing real possible hardships. Are you willing to do that? Because what does the blockchain do? It takes the power from those who push the buttons, make the decisions, chooses who lives, who dies, decides how much more you're going to have to work for the government for free so that you can live a normal life. It changes that into something where we are all equal participants This is not communism. This is not socialism. This is not, you're going to be fine, we'll take care of you. No, you still must work for yourself and be responsible for you. First time in the evolution of life on this planet, the human intellect can be put into play to determine what our next evolutionary step is. History. Well, let's look at history. What is history? History is a series of lies, starting with the first written word by the first conqueror of the first subjected civilization. Because history is written by whom? The conquerors. Now, sometimes history is obliterated by the conquerors. The Spanish, when they came to the eastern coast of Mexico, they met the Mayan civilization and found hundreds of thousands of written works of beautiful art. What did they do to cherish that, to preserve it? They burned all but 4 books. Why? They were ungodly, unchristian, diabolical. What if the blockchain were there? And the Mayans were part of it. And they go, God, man, the Spanish just came in and burnt this book, and this book was da-da-da-da-da. History becomes inviolate. Please, God, see the power of this, that if history, and it will at some point, will apply the blockchain to the constant growth of human development, which is history, and there will be no more lies. Because consensus says, I'm sorry, that just did not happen. I mean, even today, people looking back at World War II, there were people who actually believed that maybe the Jewish people were not annihilated in Germany. I mean, it's a question. If the blockchain were here, there'd be no questions. Well, yeah, go back here at the block number 11773345. You can see right how. To that effect. Do you realize that when the blockchain is applied to every aspect of our life, that human deception will disappear? Lies cannot exist in a technological system where every act has a consensus, has an observer, an actor, an interplay. So that when you call home and say, you know, I am working late, your wife doesn't have to say, I don't, no, you left the office with so-and-so and you checked into this hotel and you're now in bed with her. When you get home, you have to have a long talk with me. In fact, you may not want to come home. You may laugh or smile or just shrug it off. But believe me, God, this is happening. This is the power of what's happening. Now, how we implement this, because I do not want a world where my every act is written in an immutable ledger. I still believe in privacy. But if you do not think of it now and make your choices appropriately, there will be some smart motherfucker that will end up being the world dictator, and he will implement that system. Because the blockchain gives the vision that George Orwell wrote about in 1984. It gives that potential power to anyone willing to take it. So we can't let that person do that. We cannot let that person take that, because the blockchain has taken that centralized power and distributed it to you. For God's sake, don't give it back.